Welcome to Self-Care Tips, and today we're going to talk about the issue of personal branding, which is something that is very important because there's nobody who is quite like you. You are a brand in yourself, you have a lot to offer, and you should know your value. Once you've decided what your value is and what it is that you're going to offer to the world, begin to package yourself as a brand. And this is called brand you. The same way that companies package their precious brands is how you should handle yourself. You need to be your own PR machine. What goes out there should be what you want people to know, what you want people to know about brand you. It should be well controlled, it should be straight and to the point, and it should be well defined. Once you're creating yourself as a brand, always envision where you want to go, your focus, and how far you intend your brand to go. Because remember, branding yourself matters because you are what you have to offer. Being your own PR machine means that you should be able to control everything that goes out there about you. For example, on social media, there are things you should really think about before posting. Even what you say in interviews, everything you say about yourself should be positive. Just the same way that companies don't expose the weaknesses of their brands, but instead highlight the strengths and the good sides and the benefits of their brands, in the same way that you should do to yourself. In as much as you're trying to portray yourself in the best way, do not lie, don't exaggerate, because somewhere along the way you could be found out and this could lead to some pretty embarrassing situations. So the best thing to do is control what you say, let it be positive, and always be truthful and honest about you, the brand. And finally, as you are working on you, the brand, you need to decide what exactly you want to be, because you can't be everything to everyone. Decide, do you want to be, if you're a lady, a country girl, a glamour queen, an empire builder, a family woman? Do you want to be an influencer, a brand ambassador? And for men, the same thing. Once you have that focus and you know what you want to be, you're able to build your brand in a focused way and you will succeed. Don't confuse everybody by changing all the time. Be yourself, be a good brand, and best of all, be your own PR machine. This has been Self-Care Tips, and we've been talking about building up your own personal brand. I am Irene Joroge.
With over 2.4 million operators and a network that covers the entire nation, the Boda Boda subsector has revolutionized transport experience in Kenya. The good, the bad, and the ugly, the Boda Boda story, a 4-part special series beginning this Thursday on KBC Channel 1 News. Don't miss the Boda Boda story, a real story of our times.
My name is Hedna Cheptok. Nakimbia 3,000 meters. Naomba Wakenya atutazame KBC Channel 1. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on KBC Channel 1. This is the channel that gives you the most comprehensive news coverage in Kenya. My name is Catherine Kasavuli, and this is the Legends Edition. Of course, tonight we're going to go live to Serbia, Belgrade, where one of our sons is going to, of course, bring us some medals in the 800 meters race. So to let them square it out alone. In the August polls, the Deputy President was speaking during a series of rallies in Bahati constituency, Nakuru.
The Kenya Kwanza team took their campaigns to Kimani Ngujiri, backyard of Bahati constituency, Nakuru County. The DP calling on the head of state to leave the arena and let him and Raila Odinga square it out.
Hata kama hutaki kuniunga mkono ni sawa, si namna hiyo, lakini si uniwachie tu ukae kando, uniwachie hii mtu ya kitendawili nimenyane na yeye.
Ruto promising to revive the economy and creating more jobs for the youth if elected president come August polls.
Ndio tumesema mwaka huu tunaweka bilioni 50 kwenye hazina ambayo itapatia pesa na mikopo wananchi wa chini ili tuwainue wale walio chini, tuende pamoja tupande ngazi ya uchumi.
The Kenya Kwanza team once again accusing the handshake of running down the economy.
Ile pesa ambayo ilienda kwa BBI kama ingeenda kwa fertilizer ili mwananchi anunue fertilizer mkulima kwa shilingi 2,000 badala ya 6,000, tungekuwa na mambo tofauti katika Kenya hii.
Wakenya wana uwezo na wana haki ya kuchagua mtu wao, na sisi tumeamua kama Kenya Kwanza, candidate wetu ni huyu Chief Hustler William Samoei Ruto.
The team, which traversed Nakuru County to promote the bottom-up economic model, promised to lower the cost of basic commodities once elected in office.
Ate sasa wakichukua serikali ate unga itarudi chini, wanaungao ata within 30 days itafanya nini? Mimi nauliza hivi, ile mambo wangefanya wakichaguliwa, si wako kwa serikali saa hii, si wafanye saa hii?
Sisi watu ya Mount Kenya, sisi watu wa Western na Nyanza, Northeastern na Coast na Nairobi na Rift Valley, tumesema rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya wa 5 ni William Samoei.
Akasimama na Uhuru 2013 tukamunyorosha, akasimama 2017 tukamunyorosha. Watu ya Dodori, nyinyi ni watu mko na network, nyinyi mkipima mkiweka kafiro msuri na darubini, huyu mtu ya kitendawili anawezana na hiyo hasara.
A section of Azimio la Umoja leaders has taken issue with remarks made by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, directed at Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga, that they say were uncalled for and not expected from a leader. The team led by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna termed the utterances as unfortunate and derogatory and called on the relevant authorities to take requisite action against Kuria.
The team led by ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna was in Makadara and Embakasi regions. Here the leaders took issue with Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria for what they claimed as demeaning remarks against Raila Odinga.
Huyo Moses Kuria awache kujificha huko Gatundu. Sisi hatutamtusi vile yeye anatutusi. Tutamuombea Mungu ambaye alimponyesha hiyo miguu yake wakati ilichomeka, aponyeshe mdomo yake na roho yake.
The team calling for Kuria's arrest over the remarks.
Alisema ya kwamba mtu yeyote ambaye hajakatwa haezi ongoza hii nchi. Kwanza tunataka tuombe Inspector General of Police ashike huyo jamaa juu ana profile watu, awekwe ndani juu anamaanisha ya kwamba kabila zingine haziwezi kuwa rais wa nchi ya Kenya.
Elsewhere, ODM party leadership has expressed discontent over decision by some aspirants to ditch the party to other parties allied to Azimio la Umoja coalition.
We as a community are stronger today because we have stuck together as a community in the greatest party, ODM. That is our strength.
This as Azimio la Umoja presidential nominee Raila Odinga's spouse Ida Odinga, during the launch of Azimio la Kinamama Siaya chapter, challenged women aspirants in the upcoming polls to come out of their comfort zone and vie for various elective positions other than woman representative.
He has promised to make sure that there be some kind of industry in every sub-county. Those industries will employ the young men and girls, young men and women who don't have jobs.
Baba is the only presidential candidate with an agenda that we can say is progressive and transformative.
In Narok County, conservation of Masai Mau and Loita Forest took center stage in the Azimio la Umoja campaigns, with leaders vowing to stop the planned construction of a road through the Loita Forest.
The team that is led by Mheshimiwa Ole Ntutu is a major threat to the environmental resources of Kenya and Tanzania.
Hii jamii ya Masai imesema hakuna mtu atarudi Mau. Kwa hivyo ile mtu unamweka kwa governor atarudisha watu Mau, hawatawahi kuingia, na tumesema kama ni maisha yetu itaenda, wacha iende sababu hakuna mtu atarudi Mau.
Gishuki Washira, Legends Edition.
Green Congress Party has endorsed the candidature of Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga in the forthcoming general elections. The party, led by Martin Ogindo, says they will not field a presidential candidate but will have candidates in other elective positions.
Okay. The race towards 9th August general elections continues to intensify, with many political parties strategizing on the way forward. The Green Party Congress has now endorsed Azimio leader Raila Odinga to be the 5th president. The party's leader Martin Ogindo was speaking during the party's delegates meeting in Nairobi. Said the party will not field a presidential candidate but rather present candidates seeking other elective positions.
Well, as we had told you a little earlier on in this bulletin, that we will be joining our athletes in Belgrade. So we now go over to Belgrade.
He doesn't usually kick that early, but he said he had to get ahead of other athletes and make himself an obstacle. He thinks a 1-2 for the USA could be possible for him and his roommate Hoppel. Darriba of Spain, a Spanish champion, getting the better of Garcia at their national championships. Andreas Kramer of Sweden will be in lane 3. He led yesterday. He's never scared to lead on the global stage. Could we see him do the same in this final and sharing that tight lane 2 there? Marco Arup of Canada, he looked good winning his heat. He's certainly capable of getting a medal, but can he time it right? Elliot Crestan of Belgium sharing this lane 2. Crestan, he always gets himself at the front at some point in the race. On the inside, Noah Kibet of Kenya, pretty inexperienced on the indoor circuit, but he didn't look it yesterday. He won his heat. Could he be one to upset the athletes on his outside? Collins Kipruto, the Kenyan we thought we'd see in this final. But Noah Kibet carrying the mantle of Kenya.
On your marks.
See them wobbling in their lanes here. Dariba barging his way past Isaiah Harris. There really is only space for one man to run in each of these lanes. So Marco Arup has gone off really fast. He's good over 400. He knows how to lead these races. He's got himself out of trouble. Canada's Marco Arup in the lead at the moment.
I was watching him closely. If there's anybody you don't want to be sharing a lane with, it's Marcus Arup. He's an absolute man mountain. He's gone to the front really well here. He's running so smoothly, so powerful. He's almost David Rudisha-esque. Kramer's gone with him to try and make sure he stays out of trouble. No move by the Americans yet. I also agree with what you said at the start. Isaiah Harris, PB over 600 just before coming here. He's last at the moment and needs to pay attention. 50.5 at the halfway stage. This is fast. When are the Americans going to make a move?
They've got to get moving. They're good at pacing themselves. Bryce Hoppel grimacing a little bit there. Garcia did a big move coming into that 400-metre mark. How much will that have taken out of his legs? He eases past the tall Kramer of Sweden, though, and it is still Marco Arup of Canada. He must have had this as his game plan. He's left the rest of the athletes behind him. They've got 200 metres to go. If they want to catch the tall Canadian, they have got to do something about it soon. Mariano Garcia looks up at the big screen in the middle of the ground. What can he do to hold off a charge from the young Noah Kibet on the outside? They're going to hit this final turn. It's going to get tight, and it's Mariano Garcia in the lead. Kibet of Kenya in second. Garcia, he's starting to tie up. He's starting to grimace. Has he got anything left to hold off Kibet? Here comes Bryce Hoppel of USA. Kibet and Garcia on the inside. Garcia, Kibet, Bryce Hoppel. Mariano Garcia converts his world-leading time into a title for Spain. Spain have not won this event for years. It's the 80s. Mariano Garcia powering home, showing why you're always intrigued. You might sometimes...
Well, it's all congratulations. You should see the people in the studio. Everybody is so excited about Noah Kibet. Well, he is also the world under-20 bronze medalist, and today he's brought us silver, so it's all congratulations to him. And we continue with our news soon after this break.
Ili kupata huo ni upendo, kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 *817#.
Sio lazima uwe na hela nyingi ama uwe tajiri mkubwa, uwe na fedha nyingi ndio uweze kumsaidia mtu. Hapana, kidogo utakachopata ama kidogo ulicho nacho, mgawie. Mfanye mwingine pia afurahie. Umpatie tabasamu.
Kupata huo ni upendo, kama sikiza tune, bonyeza *811 *817#. *811 *817#.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Welcome back. In the period between January and early February this year, 16 border riders had died in Nairobi alone. A report by Nairobi Traffic Commandant Joshua Omukata indicated that 3 cyclists and 8 border passengers, referred to as pillions, also died in the same period. Omukata said overlapping and overloading by the riders were some of the main causes of accidents. In the 3rd edition of our 4-part series on the good, the bad and the ugly, the border story, we look at the bad and the ugly associated with this subsector.
The bad and the ugly of the border transport subsector, undoubtedly a multi-billion shillings industry, but its fast-paced growth is arguably on a treadmill as the negatives associated with this subsector continue to constantly water down the gains. At the Kenyatta National and Referral Hospital, the wards are overstretched.
The number of accidents have kept increasing upwards. And then if you look at in terms of the percentages of the various injuries, you realize that previously the number of accidents were more from motor vehicles only, but then from the year around 2008, 2007, in fact it started cleared from around 2006, the number of patients who are being injured by motorcycle accidents kept increasing exponentially.
The same situation is replicated across the country.
And in terms of the injuries sustained, you see some of them, especially from motorcycle accidents, you find that the patients tend to get multiple injuries. That is affecting many systems. They have head injuries, they have chest injuries, they have abdomen injuries, but then the big bulk of the patients will have fractures of the bones of the legs, or the thigh, or even the forearm and the hands. So the problem is not only in Kenyatta. You realize the problem is also spread all over to the counties. And obviously when the counties are not able to handle, and especially when you have very serious patients who need ICU care, and some of them are referred to Kenyatta. So the problem is basically countrywide, and it's as if we have not, the numbers have kept increasing with time. So every year you find that the numbers are increasing and the burden of disease is increasing exponentially.
Bernard Musembe's leg just got amputated at the age of 41. He was riding on a border when it was involved in an accident that claimed the life of the rider.
Wakiniambia utafungua tarehe 25. Sasa hapo ni pesa. School fees na mimi ndio nategemewa na niko hapo kwa kitanda.
Whenever 26-year-old Kennedy Mwangi stares at the ceiling of this hospital ward, his mind gets tortured. Mwangi is a rider. He too knows just too well the dangers associated with this subsector.
Niliweza kupata ajali pale Thika Road karibu na Madhare, ambapo niliweza kuhit gari nyuma ambayo ilikuwa imeegeshwa kwa barabara ikiweka customer ambapo ni highway na hakukuwa na stage. Niliweza kuvunjika mguu ya left ambapo nilipata accident. Nikavunjika kwa thigh na chini ya magoti kidogo pia niliumia.
The story of the bad and the ugly side of the border subsector is sad and expensive. According to the National Transport and Safety Authority, motorcycle fatalities increased by 28% in the period between 2018 and 2019 compared to other categories of road users on Kenyan roads. It takes much more than the cost of a border to treat its owner or rider following an accident warranting an admission.
Burden is very high. It's very high. Now, look at it this way. If you look at a patient who say maybe who has a minimal injury, maybe has broken only one bone, and he maybe need only one operation to be sorted out. If you look at it, when the patient comes in, the average costs, if you look at the average cost in terms of fixing that one bone and going to theater, nursing care for maybe a week or something like that, that may go to maybe around 150,000. But that we're talking about in Kenyatta National Hospital, which is funded by the government. If that only go in terms of costs in a private hospital, in a proper cost of that management, the cost would go to almost 200,000 or 250,000. Now, if you look at it and compare it even with the cost of the motorcycle the guy was riding, the motorcycle is maybe 100,000. So in other words, the cost of treating that bone is almost double.
Deformities attributed to motorcycle accidents are abound across the country. Simon Radoli knows this too well, having moved from one hospital to another, seeking to walk again, something most take for granted.
Nikiwa kwa barabara, ndipo nilishtukia tu kwa mshangao, nimegongwa na kitu na niko chini, nimelala. Kuangalia kando niliona trailer ikikuja. Sikujua ati nimeumia. Sasa mimi nililala pale chini, kujaribu kuamuka na anguka. Nikajaribu mara ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu nikaanguka. Ndio nikaita rafiki yangu yule alikuwa pale karibu, aje anisaidie kufuruta mguu. Wakati aligusa mguu, ndio nilisikia uchungu mkali sana. Nikajua kweli nimeumia. Kini katika hiyo harakati ya kuamusha, kuanguka, mtu wa pikipiki alipotea. Sikumuona tena. Sasa ikawa ni mtu ya matatu anisaidia anipeleke kwa the nearest dispensary. Wakati nilifunjika mara 3, nikaenda Kombo. Sasa hii mguu imekuwa fupi na 2 inches. Sio haitoshani na hii. Hii ilikuwa imekuwa fupi. So wakati unatembea, ukiweka uzito inatoka nje. Na hilo goti linaendelea kuumia.
You're watching The Border Story, a KBC special report.
The border sector is increasingly being associated with criminal elements.
They came where we are studying for further deliberations. And in the process, a motorcycle appeared with 2 passengers. One of the passengers was armed with a pistol. One of the officers who was accompanying the directors engaged the attackers. A fire exchange ensued, and one of the directors was injured.
Vigilantism, a siege mentally, and a general culture of lawlessness is daily being associated with this sector.
Nilipanda bodaboda hapa maybe to around Archives with a friend of mine called Joseph. So tukienda River Road to get something, tulikuwa in a hurry. So nojo, you cannot wezi penya na gari through. Kufika River Road, we agreed the price. Approximately it was from Archives to River Road, alisema 150. So each of us took one border. Tukifika huko, moja akaanza ukretini. Akajam, atumpei 150, juu amezunguka, tunampea 300, ule pia tunampea 300. So from there on, alikita a lot of chaos. Alisiita wenzake, wengine wengi. And since unajua, sisi ni watu wenye pia tulikuwa like sharply dressed and hatutaki any commotion, it forced us because walikuwa na threaten, if any case hatujawapea 300 each, we will even be killed there. Some of us tutanyang'anywa nini and all that.
The subsector is associated with a high rate of school dropout in some parts of the country, drug abuse, cases of schoolgirls being impregnated, and defilement.
Boda inatokana na utoto na ujinga ya watoto, kwa sababu wengi sana ni watoto. Wanafanya kazi wakikunywa pombe. Sio watu ambao wanachukua hiyo kazi kama ni kazi ambayo inaweza kuwalishia familia ama inaweza kuwasaidia kwa njia nyingine. Ni ulevi ndio inafanya hao watoto wanaangusha mapikipiki zaidi. Yeah.
The subsector has embraced a culture of mob impunity, terrorizing road users and being a law unto themselves.
The many wonderful young men, and in some cases women, who ride these motorbikes and do great service to this country. But friends, that is not a license for you and your motorbike to harass pedestrians by driving on pedestrian walkways and chasing them back off onto the road. It's not a license that allows for a boda to be used to do drive-by shootings or to break vehicles' windows and harass motorists along the road. And most definitely, it is not a license for you to strip and remove dignity from our women. No.
Political interference at all levels, especially in the period prior, during, and immediately after an election, is seen as a leading contributor of the culture of lawlessness and increase of boda-linked criminal activity.
Unakuja mnadanganywa ati boda serikali haitaki. Sisi hatuna shida na mfanyabiashara wa haki. Tupange mikakati ya vile kazi itafanywa, tufuate sheria, tuheshimu wakina mama wetu, wewe upate pesa yako, kila mtu afurahie.
This strange political phenomenon that I'm not able to understand. And we are driving our country down the drain, sisi wenyewe. Where people go, they bribe these border riders around, they get crowds of them, a swarm of them, you know, they block roads, or they carry them in an effort to show how popular they are, you know, this cheap populism.
Against the backdrop of the myriad of problems associated with the boda industry, the government has stepped up efforts to regulate the operations of this key transport subsector.
Well, join us for the fourth and final part of this series on Sunday. We shall be looking at the reforms being spearheaded by the government and other stakeholders to make the border subsector viable. And of course, you know that we have the games indoor games in Serbia, in Belgrade. And of course, Kenya is heavily represented. Our son, Ferdinand Omanyala, is just about to go into the arena. We have just seen Noah Kibet clinch the second position in the 800 meters. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have to give way to this to these games. So we wind up the bulletin. My name is Kasavuli. Enjoy the rest of your viewing, and KBC is the channel to be at. Good night.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
This is Janet Yopkosge. I'm asking the Kenyans to keep praying for our team. We are going to Serbia, Belgrade for World Indoor Championship. I ask the Kenyans to pray for us and to watch us in KBC Channel 1. Being measured at 22 metres and 29 centimetres. Tom Walsh in the gold medal position at the moment. But here comes the big man. Ryan Krauser, look at that personal best, 23.37. World indoor record is 22 metres 82.
So coming through for our final athletes looking to stay in the volleyball competition of 4 metres 70, 30th flat feature. Meanwhile,
Ryan Krauser through that last year, just at the start of that Olympic year. Now, being informed by Alan Davis, Krauser is one of the tallest men to ever attempt the rotation technique. Something to do with why he is tearing apart the record books. It's a great start there from Ryan Krauser. Doesn't look